Hey, 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 I'm your host, Dominique Richard, and today I'm joined by the Vancouver singer-songwriter Brody Vincent. This is another episode of Live at Evolution. Hey, Brody, thanks so much for spending your Monday with us. It's great to have you here today. Now, I have lots of questions for you, but before we get into the questions, let's just jump right into a song. So whenever you're ready.
The song's called Baggage. It's the fourth track on an album I just put together in 2024. Well, it's easy to lie, but is it a lie to tell you when we lie? I try and say that taking a break to mend back the breaks only hurt me and it broke you down. We ran around, we had a head start, running from a truth that only runs us ragged. And next time I go, I wouldn't bring check baggage. Fast track through security, search my bag and my soul. The only thing worth concealing is the love I withhold. And there might be a weapon or a way just to hurt you, but I'm bringing it with me on a red-eye flight to a girl in Madrid who helped me rid a pain through a virtue, a third-eye fortune teller who tells me I'm fortunate to have what I have and shows me the road and hands me back my bag. This time I go a traveling light. I wouldn't bring check baggage. So where's this flight? Delays take so long. Why not open the gates and make you forego the way? Seize your opportunity, you should have been gone. How you made it through customs, I made it through me. I know what I did was wrong. There was always a melody, there was always a song. And now that I sing it and say it out loud, I can only be weary, no, I can only feel proud. This time I go traveling light. I wouldn't bring check baggage.
Great work. No, that was
Thanks.
Great. We're so glad to have you in the studio today. Now, Brody, for our audience to get to know you a little bit, do you mind just introducing yourself, kind of talking about who you are and how you started music?
Totally, yeah. Well, I'm Brody. I started writing music in the start of high school, and I played piano, trumpet, then guitar leading into high school, and that really became like a habit of mine. I trained flamenco for half a decade, and now I'm 23. Wow. Yeah, I just never stopped writing, never stopped playing, and yeah, I've been playing in bars, still trying to figure out where my strong foot is and what I'm best at.
Yeah.
In my
Wow.
craft.
So you've kind of been doing this like not your whole life, but like a big part of your life has been taken up by music.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
good portion.
Yeah. What was the first instrument you ever learned how to play?
Yeah, I started on piano like most kids, and like totally resented the process.
I played piano growing up and I hated it. I hated practicing. I hated the theory exams. I don't know if you had to do those as well.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, that's so cool. Can you talk a little bit about the bars that you've played in? When did that sort of start? When did you start actually getting out there and performing?
It wasn't until like 2024. Well, no, that's not true. In 2023, I did a year busking. So I
Okay.
was living out of like karaoke bars,
Yeah, wow.
hotels, dive shops in Asia. That's why I started playing in bars. So
Right.
like it was actually a tattoo shop. I spent like 2 months
sick.
playing with these Thai guys and
Yeah.
just like learning their musical techniques and abilities, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, best part of my life.
Oh, 100%. That's like a once in a lifetime, like crazy. Oh my God. How did you get into that? Like, was that sort of just like a in the moment thing, or?
I had a work visa to go work in Australia, and I found myself in Indonesia, and
Right.
suddenly I realized my money would stretch way further if I if I stayed in Asia instead
Yeah.
of trying to pay rent down in Sydney. So I just kind of ended up taking odd jobs and making it work.
Yeah. And just making music throughout
Yeah.
sort of being there.
Yeah, totally.
Whoa, that's such a cool story. I love that. Now, before we get into some more questions here, do you want to just give us another song? And then I have lots more questions coming up for you.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. This song is called 7 Nights. Sleeping on my own 7 nights ago, out on my weak back. I couldn't see the heat. Mattress stand alone 7 nights in a row. I'm on my weak back. I have to lay flat. She's sleeping on your side 7 nights ago. And when I keep track, God, where's my head at? She's sleeping where you lie 7 nights so slow. And now I keep track, and then it turns black. Oh. So many nights to go and to go. And I was thinking, oh, so many nights to go, to go. Sleepless with guilt and lies 7 lights on low. That darkness was a disease I couldn't see with that slumber in my eyes. Where our mornings go, the silence fell in disease. Now every note a tone flat. Could slept with my eyes wide, though I never know. My thoughts were unlatched, you'll keep beneath the doormat. I didn't know how long a week would take. Is it 7 days, or when it turns black, I always come back? Oh, so many nights to go, to go. I was thinking, oh, so many nights to go, to go. Oh. Oh, so many nights to go.
Love it. Nicely done. Okay, now Brody, I'm so curious. Could you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind some of your music? Do you have like maybe a story you want to share with us about the meaning behind some of your songs?
Yeah, totally. I think this album came from like this distance that I grew from traveling.
Yeah.
I'd ended a 4-year relationship and found myself somewhere else. And the first thing I wrote off this album, I was co-living in France, and I used to smoke, or at least use nicotine. I went and bought I always buy a single cigarette a day. I was trying to quit. I've since quit.
Yeah.
Which was
I think that's a culture in France though. So
It
like
really
honestly
is.
don't even blame
It really
you.
is.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I supposed to make friends without drinking?
Yeah, it's like a social
espresso?
thing. Yeah,
And
exactly.
so yeah, but I was just on the corner one day, and I still had this note or like a letter I'd wrote and received from my ex in my bag, and I just paraphrased this song right off the letter, and I'd kind of wrote chords to it about a year later, and it wasn't it wasn't until like getting back that I really fell in love with the piano. My cousin's a professional jazz pianist, so he got
Oh,
to
so
teach me a
cool.
lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like the first song on this album I didn't put chords to
Hmm.
until far later.
Yeah.
And then I kind of made that a habit, and I had some songs that I was keen on still, but I'd never exposed to my guitar, and since the piano was there, I've really found a lot of joy like writing on the piano solely. So this became my my world,
Sort of
and
outlet to,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and then this just kind of all came together, and I tracked it, you know, threw the demos around, and now I'm, going producer to producer
Hmm.
and going in a lot of studios, and yeah, hopefully like carrying it on my back, and yeah, playing as much as I can.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for the album to come out. Okay,
Yeah,
now I
seriously.
need to know, does the ex know?
Great question. She
Maybe?
she she probably would have a feeling. Like
Yeah,
there's
okay. Like she knows you're a musician. I
Of
feel like it's
course,
like
yeah,
typical.
yeah. Like
Okay.
there's countless songs that she would be thrilled to have come out, and
Yeah.
I mean, I would never ever wish her, like, I wish her so well,
Yeah.
all the light, but there it's not as much heartbreak as it is hurt, but it's just, it's there, and it inspires me to write. So there we go.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
feel like anything that inspires you to write is good. So,
pure causation.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Now you said your cousin is a jazz.
pianist. Yeah.
Okay, talk about that because that's I feel like growing up with that influence that must have been so inspiring.
Totally, yeah. I mean, music's in my family.
Hmm.
My dad was a bass player. My
Oh
uncle's
wow.
blues guitarist. They played in a lot of bands in the '70s and things like that. My
Yeah.
cousin and me always shared a passion for music, and
Hmm.
he's not necessarily as much as a writer as I am, but he's like written some things that I think are standards already in
Yeah.
my mind, and yeah, I mean, he lives in Victoria. He's coming here on Friday, and we're gonna workshop a few of these. He's been updated the whole way through on this album, and yeah, I
So he's been
mean,
a really big part
yeah,
of sort
yeah,
of your career so far.
totally,
Wow.
totally, yeah, like countless theoretical texts and
Yeah.
phone
Oh
calls,
yeah, I
and
can imagine.
it's yeah.
But that's so great. You've like grown up in this like musical background. Like that's perfect. You were kind of born into it. Like you were made for this. So
I yeah, I don't. I see it that way too. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
Never a
totally
doubt.
see that.
Never a doubt. Yeah.
Okay, now I have a list of some questions I'm going to ask you. They're
Fire
sort of
away.
like rapid fire, and then we can just discuss. So, first is, do you have a favorite artist or an artist who you feel influences your music?
This album, I think, was super influenced by Tom Odell
Hmm.
and Tobias Jesso Jr., who's from North Vancouver, actually.
Oh wow.
He's a songwriter from North Vancouver. He's he's a brilliant songwriter. He's written for Adele, Harry Styles. He won
Iconic. Yeah.
Songwriter of the Year 2 years ago, I think it was. I really love his writing style. I found it to be yeah, like super inspiring. And it wasn't until I've written it all and kind of like found that they were kind of like soothing to my technique too, and like
Totally.
really congruent with how I played on this album.
Hmm.
So right now, for as far as inspiration goes, those two
Yeah.
come to mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you mentioned a Canadian as well. I just have to say
Got
that.
to.
Yeah,
Got to.
of course. Is there a certain genre you feel like your music falls under?
Definitely like adult contemporary
Yes. Yeah, I totally got that.
R&B, I want to say.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's quite a lot of pop influence. I mean,
Yeah,
can't
I
get
can see a
away
bit of pop
from
there.
what makes everyone's blood boil and
Exactly. Yeah.
gets it going. So yeah.
Yeah. What does your creative process look like when you're writing new music? You kind of already talked about it, but if there's anything else.
Honestly, a lot of this has come piano first.
Hmm.
Like there's quite a few. There's one song in particular on this that I worked at for months on end, and came piano first, and it ended up being very like classical. I'm not gonna try and play it on this keyboard.
Yeah. You need like a grand piano. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
totally.
But yeah, no. So that's interesting. I mean, my process used to just be find out what I'm feeling, find out what's
Yeah.
inspiring me, write it, and feel out the chords, and but things have been coming to me differently now, so that's an interesting perspective change for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Who is your dream artist to collab with? You can think as big as you want here. I know, I feel this is such a hard question to ask an artist.
You know what?
Or band, could be a band.
Could be a band. I'll say Parcels.
Okay.
They're an Aussie rock band from like Byron
cool.
Bay.
Okay.
And
I'll have to check them out.
they're great.
Yeah.
I've seen them live. It's probably
wow.
the tightest show I've ever seen. They have such good energy, and so I'd have to give them a nod.
Yeah.
They make boy bands like insignificant. They're so good.
Okay, I have to check them out now.
Okay, yeah.
Totally. If you were to release a music video, what song would it be for, and what would it look like? Like, what would the vibe kind of be?
I had this song, like a title track from another project that I'd done that I didn't end up releasing. I think there's a lot of good songs, but I'm kind of workshopping them and hoping to just use them for other people. But there's a song called California Blue, and my friend made me laugh one time. He was like, if you ever release a music video for this, because there's a lot of drums in it, and then the chorus kind of really opens up, and there's just two piano notes going on. He's like, if you ever release a music video for this, you just got to be on your piano in your underwear, just playing those two notes. And I was like, hilarious.
Yeah.
I would never, but like maybe that one.
But the vision's there. Yeah.
Just for the idea of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah.
What has been a song that you've had or what has been one of your songs that you've had the most fun working on so far?
That would probably take me to, honestly, the most fun. You can maybe put it in this because I know I sent you guys it. I write in a duo as well sometimes with my buddy. We're called the Oolations. That's term that was like a derivative of reading like Lord of the Flies, like the oohs and ahs, and they use it somewhere in the book, and I always thought it was great. We have this demo for a song called Pool Socks, and it's hilarious. The song's essentially about,
I think I listened to it.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
There was like the intro. I remember hearing the intro, and I was like, wait, this is like the 2010s, 2000s sort of.
Seriously.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, yeah.
So fun. We just have way too much fun writing.
Yeah.
Way too much fun performing. It's absurd, and yeah, it's a completely different thing from my personal endeavors or anyone that I've ever worked with. So writing with him, Nolan, bless him, he's the best.
Yeah. No, I can just imagine you guys just like in the studio just having like the best time.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's not work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, it still sounds good. So
great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, now that kind of leads me into my next question. What do your friends and family think about your music? It sounds like you have a pretty like supportive and also musical group of people around you.
Yeah, I'm so blessed to have a creative friend group. No one in my friend group isn't like an actor, a painter, an artist, like very, very to the nth and to the most substantial amounts. They support me wholeheartedly in everything that I'm writing and everything that I'm doing. So that's
you all have that sort of creativeness in common.
Bone. Yeah. And we end up splitting it like 10 ways a lot of the time. And and a lot of them are like moving to the States or moving away. But yeah, it's like still makes all the time we get to spend together and all like the trips down and wherever so much fun.
Oh yeah, totally. Even your friend with that music video idea, like
seriously, no, he sticks with me pretty hard, which is great. So I'm fortunate. Awesome. Please don't lose him.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm curious, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my God, Break Even, the Script. Yeah.
Iconic.
Good question.
Yeah.
That or
that one
I used to close, so I worked at this karaoke bar, and
cool.
I closed the night with
Yeah.
Jailhouse Rock.
Okay,
I do a
that's
really
iconic,
bad Elvis, but I think honestly there's something empowering about it.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, totally. Yeah, he's literally an icon. Yeah. You have
Yeah.
to get his dance moves going too, and then Yeah.
Embarrassingly, yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Okay, now I'm curious, how would you describe the music scene here in Vancouver?
Difficult. Yeah, close knit. Yeah, wow, big tone change.
Yeah.
Really hard to break through. A lot of bars want like 2.5 hours of music to have a set, and studios are expensive, people's time's expensive.
Yeah.
Not overtly collaborative. I remember seeing a photo of like UBC and in the 70s, and I was like, that looks fun, and I look at it now and I'm
Yeah.
like, that looks disjointed.
Yeah, there's been a lot of change.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And but still like connective, I think. And
You said close knit. Like, do you?
yeah, I think that, I mean, there's definitely a scene,
Yeah.
but yeah, close knit. I don't even know how to elaborate on that feeling. I guess like when we go into studios, it's like, like close relations with artists and producers and bands and producers, and that's kind of feels like it. And there's
Sort of
that,
everyone
but
knows each other.
yeah,
Kind of?
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it clicky, nor do I want to like diss on it, because
Yeah.
like it's also the
I
thing
mean,
that
hey,
keeps
yeah.
everything going
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't honestly. Give me 5 more years.
Yeah.
Maybe add up
Yeah,
to
yeah. I mean, it does take some time to get established, and
absolutely.
I mean, with your album and everything you have going on, like
Yeah.
you're on your way there, so that's
Thanks.
great. But yeah, I mean, I've heard good and bad things about it. Let's just say that. So I think
Yeah.
it depends. I have one more question here before we get into another song, but kind of to change moods a little bit. What has been your craziest or most memorable moment in your career as an artist
Ooh.
so far?
Wow. Probably when I was busking in France.
Yeah.
I remember I was playing in Marseille in the it's kind of like it's in the Vieux-Port, which is
Look
like
at you, the
old.
pronunciation.
Yeah, I speak
I'm
French.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I don't.
That's okay. So it's in the old port, and there's like this big mirror like roofed thing, and I just sit there and play it pretty frequently. But one time
Yeah.
I looked around and I realized that I'd like had a big group of people around me, and that was like just overwhelming. People were just like stopping and all on me, and I'm not like egotistical or narcissistic, but I was like, wow,
That's
I can't
pretty
believe
cool.
that people want to spend their like few minutes listening to me, and especially when you're writing your own stuff and performing it and playing it. There's another redeeming quality just of like connecting with people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I feel like I was connecting with a lot of people there. And that
And
was
through
cool.
your music
Yeah.
is so special. Great answers. Let's take a break from the questions for now and hear another song. So
Sweet.
whenever you're ready, we'll just jump on into it.
All right, this song's called The Last of Us. When I told you who I wasn't, I fit about a cheek 'cause I was only lying. Why go mansplain everything for you to then manipulate all the eyes? I was tasked to be a true man and turn a faithful love cheap on a dime. I knew how to keep her hand at her side, soaking in water, but then came a wine. And had our lips all moved, I was looking at the stars of the moon, with your face next to mine. Do I have to explain all the who, what, where's, and why's? should I have to explain? Should love just be patronized? Oh, it was the last of us. No, that was the last of us. No, it was the last of us. No, that was the last of us. Once you knew where I was coming from, now did you simply wanna wince away? Other questions, knowing there's only so many hours in these days. That inspired, I fight myself on the nights I spent on living, and may walk the same in dismay. I had a hand key in my pocket, but I was chiefing on the mildew all day. And had our lips all moved, I was looking at the stars of the moon, with your face next to mine. Do I have to explain all the who, what, where's, and why's? Oh, should I have to explain? Or should love just be patronized? Oh, it was the last of us. No, that was the last of us. It was the last of us. No, that was the last of us.
Nicely done. That was great. I love that one. Okay, so now we're going to talk about your solo album that you're currently working on. So could you talk a little bit about that, what inspired the album, and what the process has been like so far creating the album?
Inspiration, I think the piano is my inspiration. It's like such a backbone, and I love composing on it. And yeah, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to bring like a lot of textural songs here with this keyboard, but at home, all the beautiful nuances come out and come alive on the piano, and that's amazing. And you said the inspiration and
the inspiration behind the album and the creative process.
Okay, right, the process. Yeah, I think honestly, yeah, writing's like therapy for everyone, and yeah, sometimes I can really alleviate from writing, and the process has been either taking songs that or things that I've written before and shaping them in music, or taking music and shaping them into songs, and I think it's been a really redeeming process for me, and I've loved expanding on the passion with the keys. Yeah.
Totally. Now, the songs that you played for us here today, are those all going to be part of the album?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so so Baggage is that's the first song on the B side. 7 Nights is the third song on the A side, and The Last of Us is the third to last. So what is that? Is that 7? So it's the second song on the B side.
Okay. Love it. Is there one song in particular on the album that you is like your favorite? Like you could like listen to it on repeat?
You know, it's really stacked on Baggage. I've played that. That's kind of seems to be the one that gets people up.
The popular one.
And
Yeah.
and people really seem to love it. And a lot of the producers that I've worked with or made an effort to connect with to do the album in entirety have always just stopped me at one point and just all went, okay, what the fuck is that? Like, let's grab that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's like it definitely has a chokehold on everything.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not sure if it will end up being the single. It probably should.
I was gonna say, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you're able. Are you able to talk about the working title?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can. The title's called Reasons to Age. Yeah, I'm not under any NDAs with myself.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No, we'll keep this open book. It's called Reasons to Age. That's the last song on the album. It felt really fitting. It's about shape. It's about growing. It's about it's a lot about my experience, just like any music's about anyone's experience, and looking deeper.
Would you say that's sort of the overall theme of the album?
I would, yeah.
I love that.
Kind of revolved around me, traveling.
And I mean, obviously, this is your first album, right?
Not the first that I've written.
Okay.
I wrote one and definitely didn't have the skill or technical ability to record it, but I played it all over, and that was on guitar. I was really proud of that too, but unfortunately it didn't take off, but I am equally as excited to take this down and then make that my sophomore, and that would be a dream. So I mean,
so this album you're working on now, this will be your first sort of produced album?
I have demos and like scratch for
the previous
Trick
one.
the Lights, which I guess but I haven't really thought about it much since 2023, and like I said, like shopped it around, did my best, gave it my all, and get new.
Yeah.
Okay,
now I'm curious, do you have any shows or anything coming up that you want to talk about?
I should be playing in West Vancouver at the Red Lion pretty frequently now, so that's exciting.
Check that out.
I'm looking forward to start doing more open mics too.
Yes.
This is like, I'm treating this like an open mic.
Yeah. Oh my god, okay, now before we end this episode off, I know you said you're not super active on social media, but for our audience, where can we find more of you and your music?
Brilliant. You know what? I'm gonna say social media, and I should actually vow right now to be more active. It's my name in totality, so Brody, Cameron, Vincent.
Okay. You heard it here. Go check it out.
Heard it here. You said it.
Amazing. Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Brody, so much for being here and taking the time to come in and perform and chat with us. It was an honor being able to sit down and hear all about your career and your travels and everything. So excited for this album and to see what's next for you. And a big shout out to the man behind the camera. Thank you, Blake, for producing this episode of Live at Evolution. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to tune back in for the next one. I'm Dominique Richard, and this is Live at Evolution.
A girl in Madrid, who helped me read a paint through a virtue, a third eye fortune teller who tells me I'm fortunate to have what I have and shows me the road and hands me back my bag. This time